Good morning, good morning, do 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 do. Good morning to you. Good morning. Welcome to a daily dose of joy. Nice to start the day together and choose to use applied neuroplasticity to optimize the dose chemistry in our brain, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, to help us to focus on the positive, to see the good and the joy all throughout our day, to feel a sense of calm and vibrancy. Those are just some of the goodies from good dose chemistry. And it's in our hands. You know, there is no brick and mortar pharmacy that can compare to what our brains can produce with the right prompting. And so we are going to use our microdosing tools on the fly throughout the day to optimize the dose chemistry in our brains and optimize our capacity for joy and connection. So, one of the great microdosing tools for connection is the Whoopsie Daisy Story. It's a wonderful tool for if you've been through a challenging or rocky period in life and you may have isolated or withdrawn and you're stepping back out into the world, engaging with more people. And stories are a wonderful, wonderful way to connect. Through time, people have connected with sharing their stories. And so picking up the phone and using the microdosing line and trying out a Whoopsie Daisy Story, great social building skills. Mwah! And gives you that oxytocin of connecting with someone else. And as always, the laugh. Being able to laugh at yourself and laugh at the discomforts and inconveniences of life and find that humor in it. And I have some good ones for you guys today. And they're sort of on the theme of Valentine's, since we just have been celebrating love and all the joys of the loves of friendship, the loves of family, the romantic love. I have a fabulous Whoopsie Daisy story. It's really my dad's story that I'm going to share. We were on one of our first family skiing trips. And that's a big deal coming from Atlanta, Georgia, to get your family to where it's cold enough. But my dad's a big adventurer, and my mom too. They're very fun, loving, very much in love, beautiful couple. And I was probably 10. And my dad was feeling particularly fit this year. He had run a big, what at the time was a big road race, the Peachtree Road Race. Still a big race, but our family got into longer distance running after that. But that was a big deal back in that day to go out for a 6-mile road race. And my dad was kind of lean and fit, and he had on all of his ski gear, and he has his whole family, and he's teaching us, the younger ones, how to ski. And it's time for lunch. And we go to the big lodge, and we ski up to the lodge, and everybody stuck their skis in this big snowbank and their poles in this big snowbank. We go in, we have hot chocolate, we're having a great time. And then all of a sudden my dad looks down at his hand and his wedding ring is missing. And he realizes really quickly that when he took his gloves off and stuck them on his ski poles and left them in the snowbank, because he'd lost a little weight recently, his wedding ring had come off into the snowbank. And he takes off outside and starts looking for his ring in a snowbank. It's pretty close to a needle in a haystack. And he's looking and he's looking. And finally, my mom's like, I think I should take the kids back up on the slope because we're all digging around in the snowbank for an hour. And we have found like beer bottle pull tops, like you're digging and you feel this metal thing and your finger goes through it and you're like, yes! And it's like, oh, no, it's back when there were like the pop tops, that would make like a ring. We found the rings from zipper jackets, like the little ring. I mean, my dad was like a metal detector out there just searching for his wedding ring. So we go back and we finish our day on the slope, come back periodically, check on Dad. He is excavating the entire snowbank. He has waited for all the people to leave. Well, not waited, he's looking, but as people are leaving, there are fewer and fewer skis and poles. So he's digging and digging and digging, and he had so many whoopsie daisies throughout the day, like where he would put his finger through one of those pull tops. It was like, yay! And then he's like, no! On and on and on. And finally, it is dark. I mean, the lodge lights could only let him keep going for so long. And he finally has to go, okay, I can't find it. It's not here. And my mom gives him a big romantic, overture about how it's not the ring that's important and how great their love is. And and picks up one of those bottle top things and puts it on his finger. And we're packing up all the kids and stuff, get in the car. And he looks down and the bottle top thing's gone. And he's like, whoopsie daisy. Apparently I can't keep up with him anymore. Like, whoopsie daisy, what do we do? But maybe it's not that the initial story was such a funny whoopsie daisy, but my dad retells this story. There was actually an inconvenience and a little stressful, but there were a lot of laughs during it. And he retells it all the time as this wonderful whoopsie daisy story that illustrates how much he loves my mom and how willing he was to dig through that needle in a haystack looking for that wedding ring. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that we can do with the right lens, that we shape our life instead of a story of sorrows. We find the nuggets to stand on. I'll try and find y'all this quote that in early days when I started doing Whoopsie Daisy Stories, that was about that, our greatest stories are often built on our hardships. And some of the most wonderful praise we'll get in our life was born and seeded in some painful experience in our life. And I just wanted to share that because it's like a message in a bottle back to myself when I was in early days of doing my brain retraining, and things were it was hard to see the lighter side and look through a filter of humor at things. But I promise it will come, and that whatever hardships or shadowy forest you may be traversing, that there will be empowerment and story and connection that comes out of it. Let's see, one more whoopsie daisy story dealing with romance. And I think I alluded to this when I was laughing on Valentine's Day, but I so wanted to invite this guy, one of the first guys I ever dated, home to make him dinner. And so my parents kind of went to the other end of the house. We had the kitchen, and there was a little eat-in kitchen, and I remember I had flowers, and but I really didn't know how to cook at all. I had other skills, but that was not one of them. That came later in life. Now I'm a boss of a cook, but back then, oh Lord. And so this very cute guy came over to have dinner, and one of my favorite things in the winter is grilled cheese and tomato soup. I thought, awesome, this is what I'm making. But I didn't realize that although I could make that when left to my own devices, that with an attractive young man standing there next to me, talking and laughing, apparently I could not multitask in the kitchen. And I burned the first 2 pairs of grilled cheese sandwiches. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Cut up some more cheese, got some more bread, some more butter. I burned the second pair of grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay, no problem. We'll just keep talking, stories going on. And then I start to burn the 3rd set, and he like jumps in. He's like, I think you need a hand. And he gets in and kind of, I demurely step aside, and he finishes up the grilled cheese sandwiches. And then he ended up taking over and making the soup because it was just too risky at that point. And it's like, whoopsie daisy, I was much more interested in flirting than I was in concentrating on the singe temperature of butter. So it was like, oh well, whoopsie daisy. But I remember telling one of my girlfriends, she was just mortified. And I was like, but it was such a great laugh. It was worth it. And so you just never know where you'll find your whoopsie daisy story. If we just shift our lens, instead of being embarrassed or tense, we're just gonna breathe into it and start finding the funny. And telling the whoopsie daisy stories is a great way to prime your brain, to orient your brain to be looking for the humor. So, wishing you guys a wonderful day. May the universe surprise and delight you with your own whoopsie daisy story today. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Bye.